All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for being here today to celebrate a major milestone in Metro's Universal Accessibility Program. I'm Sanjay Rambhadran. I serve as the chair of Metro's Board of Directors, and today we are celebrating 5,000 universally accessible bus stops.
All right. 5,000.
With thousands more to come. With thousands more to come. I'd like to first take a moment to acknowledge our elected officials, attendees, and community members here. We'll start with Congressman Al Green, a great supporter of transit, and I believe we are in the district, and it's a great day in the district, in the 9th district. We have the President and CEO, Armando Colombo from the Meningal Clinic, that operates the Gathering Place, and several members of the Gathering Place. Thank you all for being here. Not only have they been a great partner in this particular project, but they've also graciously allowed us to host this event on their property, so thank you. We also have the Willow Waterhole Conservancy, who's responsible for sidewalk improvements in the area. Partnerships between various organizations are often a critical part of the puzzle that comes together in achieving accessibility. We have Brett Byers, Bill King, and Bill Burhans here with us this morning. Thank you all for being here. And I absolutely love the trails that you all have around the water hole, and I'm a frequent user of that as well. We have my colleagues on the board here, Board Secretary and Chair of the Kaplan Strategic Planning Committee, Troy Taylor, and Chair of the Joint Development and Land Use Committee, Board Member Diane Luter. And of course, we have with us the President and CEO of Metro, Tom Lambert, the longest serving President and CEO in Metro's history, and will be retiring in a few weeks at the end of December after 45 years of service to the greater Houston region. So in 2017, Metro chose to embrace a universal design philosophy that ensures not just compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act, but going above and beyond that for universal accessibility and maximizing benefits to all people. That commitment to accessibility has led to millions of dollars in investment from Metro, from the Metro Next Moving Forward plan, and from the Houston-Galveston Area Council. Just last week, given the phenomenal work that's been done on this initiative, the Houston-Galveston Area Council's Transportation Policy Council approved an additional $30 million for Metro's Universal Accessibility Initiative. Unfortunately, Dr. Lex Frieden, our board colleague who started this initiative, could not be with us today, but he's been a guiding light for us all through this initiative. He's an educator, a researcher, and very often referred to as the chief architect of the Americans with Disabilities Act, working with then President George H.W. Bush in 1992 to make sure that the ADA gets signed into being the law of the land. Lex would have wanted you all to know how much accessibility transforms lives. So how did this all come about? Last year in September, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg was in town, and at that point in time, we had completed 3,000 bus stops. And we had to repeat the number to him because he wasn't sure he heard it right. So we told him everything is big in Texas. So we do have 3,000 bus stops we have completed out of the 9,000 bus stops that Metro has across our service area. The Universal Accessibility Initiative is not just about widening sidewalks, connecting bus stops to the nearest sidewalk, larger bus pads, wheelchair ramps. Yes, all of those improvements make a world of a difference, but it's about the people. It's about making their ride easier, more comfortable, and contributing to a culture of inclusivity. So on the face of it, these are simple projects. You see a bus pad at a bus stop, but there's a lot more nuance. There's a lot more to the details. How do you prioritize which of the 9,000 bus stops go first? How do you ensure that you've got the real estate and the right-of-way to actually pour the concrete? Working with public and private stakeholders, making sure we are able to get permitting, working with our private sector and public sector partners. A lot goes into what is not the end, but just the beginning, if you ask me. Pouring the bus stop pad to be fully accessible, connecting it to sidewalks is essentially the first step before you bring in shelters. So we've had some trouble with supply chain, as most others have had, as we're coming out of the pandemic. But the good news is we have now solved for that supply chain issue, and just as of a couple of months back, we've started receiving our new improved bus shelters, better ventilation with solar panels with LED lighting for safety in the evenings and the early mornings. 400 bus shelters will be installed each year. We've already installed the first several dozen of them, I believe. In addition to these 400 bus stops, we will also be installing 435 boost shelters on two corridors, the 54 and the 56, and soon the 82 Westheimer, which carries upwards of 10,000 riders on a daily basis, and you can experience the full diversity of the Houston region right on that one single bus route, the 82. In addition, our team at Metro has worked to prototype a solar-powered fan for days when it's not windy and cold like it is today, but for the summer. So these are all happening, and I go back to the day when Dr. Frieden and I were in a room with Tim Mills here, who's been a prime mover in making sure we get to this milestone. Thank you, Tim, and your team. And we were actually trying to figure out, how do we prioritize? How do we bring the funding to get all of this done? And it is phenomenal to see that what started as a meeting in a conference room just a few years back has now translated into 5,000 bus stop improvements. So personally, I think this is a big deal, 5,000 bus stops. I do not believe there is anywhere in the United States where these many bus stops have been improved in this short a time frame. So I've been proud to be part of this commitment and to work alongside with Lex Frieden, my board colleagues, our president and CEO, and the entire Metro team as we work to build a transit system that is accessible and equitable, not just for today's residents, but the future residents of the greater Houston region. And with that, let me bring to the podium Congressman Al Green.
Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. This is a wonderful occasion. It's an honor to be here with you, Sanjay. As the chairperson of the board, you've done an outstanding job. Would you give him a big hand, please, for the outstanding job that he's done? And let's also recognize Tom Lambert, 40 plus years. Wow. Tom, you had to start right out of kindergarten. All right, well, give Tom a big hand for me, please. Thank you, Tom. And a board chairman doesn't do it by himself. He is proud to have at least two members of the board with him today. Give them another hand for me, please. Thank you very much. And you are really excited about this. Give yourselves a hand. Thank you for being so excited. Are you excited about the improvements? Are you excited about the bus rides? Are you excited about our Metro? All right, thank you. Now let me just share this with you. A great ride does not start when you're on the bus. It starts before you get on the bus. It really does. Look, it's great to be comfortable on the bus. It's great to be respected while you're on the bus. But the great ride starts before you get on the bus. You've got to have a bus stop that is going to be safe, a bus stop that's going to be accessible, and a bus stop, quite frankly, that is going to be properly located in the community so that it is available to all persons within a community. I think this is what Metro is attempting to do, and for this alone, I think they should get a special expression of appreciation. Would you give one to Metro, please, for this alone? But a great ride as I said, doesn't start when you're on the bus. And believe it or not, it does not start at the bus stop. A great ride starts in Washington, D.C. How in the world can this be, Al Green? Well, it starts in Washington, D.C. because in Washington, D.C., I, with my colleagues, we supported the notion of sending federal funds to Houston, Texas, $30 million of federal funds, so that we can have these improved bus stops, so that you can have this great ride, the great ride that starts in Washington, D.C., with your tax dollars coming home to you so that you can have better bus stops and have a better ride. Let's give all of those facets of this process an expression of appreciation. And I'm just closing with these words. I'm grateful to the transit workers. I just left Fiesta, and one of the things that we are doing now is giving expressions of appreciation, Sanjay, to the persons who worked through the pandemic. When people were afraid to go out and had to, the bus service was still there for you. There were people who were putting their lives on the line. Now, there are people who say the pandemic really wasn't that much. Well, it's easy to say that now. But when it was happening then, and I lost my friend whose life was taken from him, he visited his grandchildren, and he died as a result of acquiring COVID. I want to do something for the bus drivers. I want to acknowledge the drivers and all of those persons who were working during the pandemic so that we could still have bus service in this city. I want to give every one of them a certificate of special congressional recognition, and with the consent of the board and others, I will get it done. They deserve an expression of appreciation too, because a great ride is something that you get in hot weather, cold weather, and even when you have a pandemic, you have to have a great ride. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman, for those words and for your long-term partnership with Houston Metro. And as he rightly pointed out, at the height of the pandemic, right here in Houston, Metro was given over 100,000 rides each and every day.
Give them a hand.
Critical livelihoods, connecting folks to clinics and hospitals and so much more. So, Congressman, we'll be there to carry all of those certificates of recognition back to Houston, and thank you for that initiative on your part. And once again, not too far from here, in the 9th Congressional District, just a few short months back, when it was 100 degrees outside, the congressman brought $5 million in our federal tax dollars to build a new park and ride facility in Missouri City, and we want to thank you for that as well. I want to invite, Mr. Colombo, you're going to be saying some words, right? Please give a big hand to the President and CEO of the Menninger Clinic, Armando Colombo.
I first want to just thank you all for being here. Congressman, thank you for being here. So we're here at the Gathering Place, which opened in 1986 to assist adults in recovery from mental illness and get the support they need to live independently. And the Gathering Place is one of the programs the Menninger Clinic, one of the country's best psychiatric hospitals, operates. So I want to say thanks to our Metro leaders for improving the transportation system for Houston residents, and especially for those who rely on the buses and trains to take advantage of all that Houston has to offer for their health and well-being. It is especially fitting to commemorate the improvements in bus stops near the Gathering Place. On a regular basis, we have 40 to 60 members of our psychosocial clubhouse gather here for meaningful fellowship with their friends and Gathering Place staff, as well as to work on the skills that support their mental health and wellness and be productive members of our community. Most of you probably don't know this, but 85% of our members use Metro to get here, which is free of charge to them, that we offer. So now they will benefit from the shelter offered no matter the conditions. That's such an advantage when the mental illness they are recovering from is a challenge enough for these folks. On behalf of Shala Parker, who is our amazing program director here at the Gathering Place, and all of her staff that's out here, and all the members, again, thank you so much for Metro for listening to the needs of the community and making Houston a more accessible for all the riders. And to my Gathering Place members, y'all are amazing. Thank you. And I'll see y'all on Thursday.
Thank you, Mr. Colombo. We're glad we're bringing not one but two shelters right outside the gathering place. And it's all about improving the experience for every single customer every single day. So with that, I'm going to pass it on to the chair of the Capital and Strategic Planning Committee on the Metro Board of Directors, Troy Taylor.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. This is nostalgic for me, just because I grew up in this part of town as well. I played baseball just down the street, if you guys know the baseball fields there. And as I was riding over, I remembered I've always been a bus rider, and I remember riding the bus over to this area. And I remember once it was raining pretty good, and we had to stand under a tree just because that was the best place to stand when it was raining. And, you know, you kind of look out and you look for the bus and see if it's coming. You figure out who's going to go out and run and look to see if the bus is coming. And so we do that. And that same bus stop today, we rode by it. And now that bus stop has concrete on it, and it has a bus shelter on it, and it has a trash can on it, and I saw people sitting at it. So that's just a warm reminder that this is progress. And the only thing I'd say to you guys is just wait. This is only the beginning. What you see now is the beginning, and there's more to come. So thank you for your support, and we look forward to continuing to serve you. Thank you.
Thank you, Troy. In addition to the bus stop, the shelter, and the concrete pad, you now no longer need to dart out in the rain to see if the bus is coming. You can check it on the Metro app. You can send a text and you get a next bus text telling you exactly when that bus is going to show up. Today is a special day in many, many, many ways. We've spent the last couple of months celebrating all that Tom Lambert has meant, not just for Houston Metro, but for the transit industry and for our region. And as far as we know, this is the last of the press conferences that we will be doing when he is the president and CEO of Metro. And we on the board couldn't have asked for a better partner. We as a region couldn't have asked for a better leader to lead the transit agency serving a 1,300 square mile area. And with 45 years of service, all that Tom Lambert has done and continues to do is being felt today. But truly, we will come to appreciate it 10, 20, 30 years from now. Our President and CEO, Tom Lambert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to have him do all of my remarks in the future, so thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to echo Chair Rahm's sentiments. I'm grateful for Dr. Lex Frieden's dedication to the improvement of our system and for the hard work of our entire Board of Directors, the Metro staff, our private sector partners, and the community. As our community continues to grow, this community must evolve and must grow with it. As an agency, we are building accessibility into our bus stops and new facilities, as well as looking for innovative ways to meet our customers' needs. This 5,000 bus stop milestone is exciting, but I acknowledge there is still work to be done to reach our goal and beyond our goal. Barriers to access affects us all in each and every one of our families. But when we foster an environment that is truly accessible, we provide a space where everyone feels welcomed and can contribute and flourish in our society. An accessible transit system is a gateway to more opportunity as it unlocks access to a broader world, to jobs, to education, to health care, and to recreation. This initiative aims to ensure that everyone in this community has this access and the independence that comes with this access. We often talk about providing a better walk, a better stop, and a better ride. This project is a great example of how this mantra is put into practice and how it inspires us to do more for our riders and for the broader community. We know that many in our community live with a disability, so it is paramount that our system reflects who we serve and make sure their dependence and independence is constantly reinforced. It's 5,000 bus stops today, but we're adding more and more to the list each and every week. So I'm proud of the Metro staff. I want to thank all of our community partners. I want to thank the private sector partners that make this happen when we work in partnership with them. But the chairman mentioned this individual earlier, but I want to mention him again, and that's Tim Mills. Tim, I want everybody to know who you are. We have finally called Tim Mills our accessibility czar, and there's a reason for that. He's moved this project along not only from a planning standpoint, from a design standpoint, a strategy standpoint, and working hand in hand with the board of directors, but he's delivered this project back to this community. So Tim, thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, Congressman, everyone here this morning, I want to thank you for your support. We look forward to continuing it. Now it's time to cut a ribbon. So I think we're going to cut a ribbon.
Everyone got the shot? All right, 1, 2, 3. Yeah!